The Dallas Mavericks? Oh, they're regretting this one big time. Trading away Luka Doncic? Yeah, that might go down as one of the biggest blunders in NBA history. And honestly, it didn't take long for the regret to set in. We're in a blockbuster deal that sent Luka to the Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a future pick. And let me tell you, Dallas fans are not happy. Meanwhile, Luka and LeBron, they're tearing it up in LA, sitting pretty at the top of the Western Conference. But in Dallas, it's nothing but finger-pointing, frustration, and some awkward press conferences. But here is the catch. Instead of a generational talent in his prime, Dallas got an aging, injury-prone AD, who, by the way, twisted his ankle in his first game as a Maverick. And that draft pick? It's not even unprotected. Mark Cuban reportedly had no idea this trade was even happening until it was already done. And now, the Mavericks are stuck with an empty asset cupboard and a fan base that's absolute. Dallas bet against Luka Doncic, and right now, they're paying the price, big time. Subscribe now to see how Dallas's Luka gamble became their biggest nightmare. When the Dumont family officially took over the Dallas Mavericks in December 2023, fans were cautiously optimistic. Mark Cuban reassured everyone he'd still handle the basketball side of things, and with the Mavs fresh off a finals appearance, the future seemed bright. But the deal? Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a single future draft pick. For a generational talent like Luka, fans were stunned. Outrage poured in from every corner of the basketball world. Social media exploded with disbelief. We traded a 25-year-old MVP candidate for AD's glass knees. Dumont tried to explain the move, but his words only added fuel to the fire. In a press conference, he said, "The greatest players, Jordan, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, had an unrelenting focus on winning. If you don't have that, you can't be part of the Mavericks." He never mentioned Luka by name, but everyone knew who he was talking about. The irony? Shaq famously showed up to training camps overweight and admitted he delayed surgery to enjoy his summer. And Bird? The guy once threw hands in a bar fight during the NBA Finals. Meanwhile, Luka had played through countless injuries and consistently delivered when it mattered most. The Mavericks are stuck in mediocrity, while Luka and the Lakers, they're dominating the Western Conference. Now, with every step-back three and no-look assist, the regret in Dallas only grows louder. And Dumont? Well, he might just be remembered as the guy behind the most regrettable trade, since the Nets sacrificed their future for aging Celtics legends. The trade didn't just shock fans, it blindsided Mark Cuban himself. He genuinely believed he still had a say in the team's basketball decisions. But when news of the deal reached him, Cuban immediately called GM Nico Harrison, practically begging him to reconsider. It was too late. The trade was already a done deal. Cuban's frustration boiled over afterward. "We built this entire team around Luka. You don't just trade away a generational talent like that," he said, and he had a point. The Mavericks pulled off something most franchises can only dream of, going from Dirk Nowitzki to Luka Doncic without missing a beat. That kind of seamless transition is almost unheard of in pro sports. Now, that rare continuity? Gone. And it didn't take long for the regret to set in. Still, nobody expected what came next. The Luka Doncic trade. According to Mark Stein, frustration had been building behind the scenes. Harrison was reportedly fed up with Luka's conditioning and constant complaints to referees. He was convinced Doncic's injuries would only get worse with age, and that the Mavericks had already seen the best of Luka. So instead of doubling down and offering a max extension, the front office hit the panic button. They sold high on a 25-year-old superstar. Dallas fans were stunned, and the frustration boiled over during a recent game. When the arena's karaoke came up, one fan saw an opportunity. He pretended to sing along just to get on screen, then mouthed the words, "Fire Nico." The camera cut away, but the damage was done. Security escorted the fan out, which only poured gasoline on the fire. Later, another fan held up a sign with the same message and got ejected too. The Mavericks front office thought they were playing it smart. But now, with Luka thriving elsewhere and the fan base in open revolt, it's clear they're already regretting the trade. Anthony Davis is undeniably gifted, but at 31, his injury history casts a long shadow over his potential impact. And in a moment that felt almost scripted for disaster, Davis rolled his ankle in his very first game as a Maverick. He didn't even make it to halftime, sitting out the second half. Fans were furious. Social media exploded with comments like, "We traded our future for this?" The skepticism is real. Dallas gambled big, and early returns aren't promising. Meanwhile, Mavericks GM Nico Harrison has been getting a lot of credit for the midseason moves that helped propel Dallas to the finals, like snagging PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. "In Nico we trust," said longtime fan Mark Dumont. But let's be honest, those trades only looked genius because Luka Doncic was there to orchestrate the entire offense. Without him, Washington's floor spacing and Gafford's rim runningly look less like strategic upgrades and more like desperate patchwork. The front office believed that bringing in Davis would give Kyrie Irving a co-star to keep Dallas competitive post-Luka. But right now, it feels like they've bet the house and are already regretting it. The Dallas Mavericks' future is looking bleaker by the day. They went all in to build around Luka Doncic, sacrificing key draft picks and financial flexibility in hopes of contending for a championship. But now, without their franchise cornerstone, the cracks in their foundation are impossible to ignore. Their draft capital is depleted, and by 2027, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and Klay Thompson will all be on the wrong side of their prime. With no young star waiting in the wings and Dallas historically struggling to attract top-tier free agents, the road ahead looks rough. Meanwhile, Luka has fully embraced his new chapter in Los Angeles. Teaming up with LeBron James, the duo has turned the Lakers into an unstoppable force, quickly climbing to the top of the Western Conference standings. Every highlight of Doncic dishing no-look dimes in purple and gold feels like a dagger to the hearts of Mavericks fans. It's a move that's already haunting them, and the regret is setting in faster than anyone expected. See, this wasn't just a basketball decision. It was a cocktail of personality clashes, short-sighted planning, and financial miscalculations. The front office believed they were solving a long-term issue, but instead, they've ignited a crisis that could linger for decades. The fallout has been immediate. Fans are furious. Attendance is plummeting. Protests outside the arena have become a common sight. With homemade signs calling out ownership for betraying the city's championship dreams. And instead of addressing the concerns, the organization tried to suppress the noise, which only made it louder. That's the story of how the Mavericks made one of the most regrettable trades in NBA history. But what do you think? Was Dallas right to move on from Luka, or did they make a colossal mistake? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more NBA stories like this, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a breakdown. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.